I bought this 1050 Ti for my Plex server, and I wanted to do a little cleanup because, well, as you can see here, it still has the sticker on the screw, which I'm not very happy about. This means this is a card almost 10 years old, so this means it ran without being cleaned for 10 years. So this might be the case where the GPU is fried, where it run on very high temperatures. I know that this isn't a GPU that gets super hot because, well, it doesn't have an additional power connector. It's just using, I think, max 70 or 65 volts, something like that. But still, 10 years old. So, and in some regions, and this is also available in my country, they are not uh, peeling the sticker on the screw because, well, this means it nobody has entered GPU and it gets a higher resale value. But this is not the case. If it's 1 or 2 years old GPU, yes, I agree, and you also have the warranty. But being a 10 years old GPU, well, you have to do maintenance. But as you can see here, the thermal paste is quite, I would say, new. It's still watery. Or not watery because that means it's old, but it's still, uh, I don't know, it looks fresh. So it's definitely not the case. So another thing that the sellers are doing are using some pliers in order to unscrew the screw, so not a screwdriver. Uh, just to say that, well, basically the GPU it's almost new because, well, it still has the sticker on the screw. So for me, this is more of a red flag that something positive. But nevertheless, it seems that it had maintenance done on it. It doesn't have a lot of dust also. So it looks pretty good. Another thing that I observed is that it gets a bit loud because the fan is a bit flimsy. So I guess this is also because of the tenure of the card. It's almost a 10 years old card, as I said. But it should be more than enough for my Plex server. Has a little bit of dust, nothing crazy, so I guess everything should be fine. Um, my main idea was to uh, lubricate a bit the fan. Unfortunately, I observed that it doesn't have, um, let's say, a plug that you can unplug on the bottom of the fan. So the you can't add any additional oil to the bearings. Being sold might be also the case that the bearings are worn out, so you can't really change them. You can buy an additional fan. I didn't found one locally. I found a broken GPU, almost the same price as this one. For this one, I paid 30 bucks, which I think it's a good price for a 1050 Ti. So firstly, let's remove the sticker because this will confirm that oil can be or can't be added. So this is the first step that we'll do. Um, let's get rid of the dust from the front shot firstly, which is not a lot because I think it was properly maintained. So I'm not worried about anything when it comes to this. The only thing is it's a bit annoying. Being uh, for sure the bearings are out, so it's quite noisy, but also it produces a lot of vibrations. So my entire server is just like dancing almost, which is the main reason for this cleanup. And as we are peeling the sticker, you can observe that it has a mark for cup, but I think this is how the plastic is molded. I would say. So it's not a rubber cap that uh, you can unplug. I tried a bit several times. I even tried to poke a hole through it, but it seems it's just molded. So there's no chance for me going underneath. I would not try to find a new fan. I found some replacements from AliExpress. I'm not sure if they are new. I'm 90% sure that they aren't new. So those I used might be even the same quality. So buying another one which is in the same condition, it doesn't bring any value to this. So I won't do that. I'll try to clean it as much as possible. Maybe there will be a difference. Maybe not. At least I will try to do so. Um, Spoiler alert, it will be even worse. I tried to disassemble it and assemble it again several times. It just produces an enormous amount of vibrations. So I guess everything is worn out. The bearings are not what they are supposed to be anymore. So uh, this procedure is kind of useless. I mean, yes, I got rid of the dust and I replaced the thermal paste, but still, the sound is quite annoying, especially during the night. So let's clean it up a bit more. At least we will get rid of the dust. I was thinking add some oil, maybe uh, add a side of it, but that means the oil will go everywhere. So this is not a good idea. And also, if the bearings are worn out, a little amount of oil won't do any good. But at least we changed the thermal paste. So also I've cleaned the pins. There was some amount of dirtness on them. So at least this I tried my best. But it is what it is. I have an external fan on the case which is pointing towards the GPU. This should help a bit with the temperatures. As I said, I don't think this should be maybe maximum 60 degrees. But since I'm not gaming or anything, I'm just using it on my Plex server, so for transcoding, and mostly it's 1080p, so it shouldn't be a lot of work for the GPU. Um, I don't really remember the CPU that I'm using. I think it's 1600 maybe, something like that. 1600, let's say. It should be enough for 1080p. I'm just uh, streaming locally, so I guess it's direct playing. This GPU should be enough for streaming outside the local network, even 3 or 4 1080p videos in the same time. It's not the case since I'm the only user and it's used on the local network. But well, for 30 bucks, I said why not? Let's just try to replace the old. I think it was R7 260X 2 GB card, and this is 4 GB card. Would be a slightly improvement, which you won't really see in Plex. Um, if you are just streaming locally, as I do, and just one stream at a time. But it looks in good condition, so I would say it's a win. And let's see. Worst case scenario, it will be the same. How bad can it be? It's already noisy. So okay, after um, putting everything back, adding new thermal paste and so I'll do some tests. Uh, I I think I can say that I hate a bit these type of connectors for the fan that usually the GPUs have because they are very fragile. So I broke a few in the past. These are even a bit bigger than the ones used in laptops, if I remember correctly. So those are the real pain. These are kind of okay. It's doable. Okay, I mounted everything back. As you can see, the fan is still a bit, and you can tell that the bearings are worn out. And after it's not even spinning as it should be, but still, I put it back on the server. I let it run, where the plan was to run it for the entire night. I couldn't. The sound was even worse. The vibrations were insane. So I just ran it for one night without a GPU. And then I had another idea. Since I have the old R7 260X, it should be the same. The fan should be the same dimension. I think those are 90 millimeters fans. In theory, it should work. Both of them are 12 volts. Not sure if there is a big difference in the amount of amps they're using. Should be the same more or less. I know that this one is 12 volts and zero point 0.5 amps. So, I mean, I don't know how much can it, that the other one, how much can it need. But I realized then that the other one has, the other GPU has an external uh, power cable. It needs a 6-pin power cable attached, so maybe it provides more. I don't know. We need to check. So if we are checking now, it was too fast. I couldn't see. Okay. Nevertheless, the fan is a bit bigger in width, so the GPU itself would be a bit beefier now. This is not really an issue. Everything should work as expected. It's the same connector. It's still 12 volts. The difference in amps shouldn't be a huge deal. Uh, Everything fits almost, but it fits, and we can plug everything back. And we can see and the result, and it spins. The previous one did spin a lot because, well, the bearing. This is super silent. We don't need this anymore. So as you can see, this is worn out. Let's put everything back. Connector is the same. We don't need to do any modifications. Everything is more or less plug and play. Well, more. You don't need to basically do anything. So I did all this. I put it back in my server, and the fan is not spinning at all. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't spin. But of course, I have the additional fan on my case, and that produces enough air. That's under 37 degrees.